this is another video with Paul and Seth. I am Paul, SBA manager over at Giza Credit Union, SBA Lending, and I am here joined by the broker extraordinaire.
Thank you, Seth Rudin. I'm a senior broker at International Business Associates, or IBA for short, headquartered in Bellevue, Washington, and we help assist privately held and family-owned businesses make an exit. And I've done many deals with Giza Bank. They're great to work with.
Absolutely. And so in this video, we're going to talk about how many no's to get to a yes. And there's a big difference. There's a lot of buyers that come to me that I have to say, no, or maybe it has to structure this way. And so we're going to talk about some of those things that I look for and some of the things that you look for so we can try to get to a yes, because that's the ultimate goal, right?
I would imagine your desk has a lot of files.
Yes, and then they say, oh, I'm calling about this deal. Well, what's your name? And it's a process, absolutely. So, as a broker, I'm sure that, you, Seth, definitely get frustrated when it comes to, hey, why didn't you say yes? What's wrong with this buyer? They have the down payment. What else? What else are you looking for?
Well, the good thing for you is everybody at IBA screens the buyers before.
That's
you
true.
See LOIs.
That is why I enjoy working with you guys. Very true. So it's very important to know what that banker is looking for. So here are some things that I have kind of on my must-have, and then I have on the nice-to-have. Okay. So on the must-have, I want to see experience. I want to see either straight experience or I want to see dotted line experience. Okay. So let's give an example of a doctor who wants to open up a restaurant or to buy a restaurant. Really? Where's the dotted line experience there? I have a hard time with that. I'm going to keep digging until I get comfortable on it, but that one's going to be a little bit of a tough one, right? How about a general contractor that wants to buy an electrician? Okay, right? Like there's something there. They kind of get the blue collar world. That's something I could get behind, right? A tech worker who wants to buy a plumbing company. I've gotten a lot of those lately, actually. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, if you developed an app for somewhere and you're wanting to buy a plumbing company, how does that connect? I would have a difficult time with that naturally, but I would definitely want to keep digging because maybe there's something there that I don't know. But that one's going to be a tough one.
The owner of the plumbing company could stay.
See, that's a great example of it. How can we get that seller to stay on? Maybe we do a partial change of ownership. We try to get creative on how to make that work. If that seller is like, no, this is my guy. This is who I'm selling to.
Exactly.
Okay. And those happen all the time, right? A successful business owner buying a business that's in a new industry. That's a very interesting one, and that one I would definitely want to dig further on because I would want to see, again, how can we get there?
So we sold a nearly a $10 million engineering company to a HVAC owner who was very successful. He had a strong balance sheet.
There you go.
And they got bank financing, and
that's awesome.
Those things can work. This is why we're problem solvers.
That is God. That's really what I'm going to change that on my business card. Mm-hmm. Problem solver. How about a Harvard MBA graduate who wants to buy a landscaping company?
Seen it happen.
Absolutely. It absolutely happens. And it's something where I just want to understand that person. Tell me about your experience. How does this work? And so that's what we talk about with dotted line experience and just regular experience. Then let's talk about some of the other basics. Credit. Okay, well, you need to have at least, in my world, I want to see at least 680 or higher, and again, it's not like you're pulling credit on your world, but we definitely want to see someone who's paid their bills, not living beyond their skis. That kind of makes sense, right? Net worth. This is just kind of a starting point, but let's say, for example, you have a $3 million business and the person's net worth is $800,000. That one gets me a little worried, okay? If it's a $3 million and they have $2.5 million in net worth, okay, it's a little bit under, but there could be something there. Maybe the experience offsets, right? You own a $3 million business and your net worth is $3 million. Okay.
That's simple.
That one's simple.
That's easy.
So you can kind of tell who my bar is. I'm kind of looking for like, where are you? And if you have multiple people, so if you and I go into a business together, we're going to combine our net worths together to look at that business. So that's another way that I look
But
at
with
it.
the cash flow of the business, I have seen, $4 million enterprise value businesses with somebody with 1.5 because of the income of the business, and that the bank risk policy allowed it to get underwritten. I don't know how you view that, but if it's
It goes back to the strength. If you have somebody who's super strong, willing to, and has the ability to take on that debt, etc. Again, there's a story behind it, right? And so how do you mold things to make it work?
So you're really saying a lot of factors in a Rubik's Cube.
That is 100% true, Seth. We also look for post-closing liquidity. So after you've put money into the deal, did I take all of your personal money and you have nothing left? Well, that's not going to really help. That's going to be a big thing. And what's the kind of, there's a lot of great programs out there like the ROBS program, using your investment account. That makes sense in a lot of cases, actually. Also look at the industry. Is it a growing industry? Is it a flat industry? Is it a dying industry? What is it, right? And that's going to also affect business cash flow. I mean, my gosh. I mean, you're not gonna send over a deal to me or any institution if there's like no cash flow there at the end, right? And that's why you guys do your due diligence, and that's why I enjoy working with you guys.
Thank you.
But we want to see ideally 3 years of it being able to satisfy that debt. Now, is that always happening? No. But at bare minimum, I'm going to want the last tax year and interim to be able to afford that. Otherwise, then we have to get into projections, and then we kind of start adding our extra, bank or credit union layers on it.
Really, the business should pay for itself.
Yeah.
The cash injection gets the acquisition, and you're the backup.
Absolutely, because otherwise, what's the point of the price of the business if you can't do it, right? And then I always look for, what have you done in due diligence? What has that buyer done in due diligence? Are they saying, oh, hey, the bank's not going to finance it if not? And I've had plenty of people that do that. No, what due diligence? Have you used your CPA? Have you got a quality of earnings? Have you done anything like that to really make sure that you know what you're buying and you're just not relying on us?
Quality of earnings, probably business $5 million.
Yes, we're definitely going to go the higher on that again for smaller stuff. No. Last but not least, some things that, a lender, we like to have. We like to have secondary income. So if I'm going to buy a business and yet I still work for XYZ on the side, that's an extra W-2 income, it makes things a little bit nicer. Real estate is collateral. SBA is a cool program because it will finance that goodwill, right? And that's why it's so popular. But if you have, extra real estate on there, it definitely makes the lender smile and breathe a little bit better. And last but not least, are you all in? And I'm not talking like, I want every penny of you in here. I'm not looking for that at all. But if you have a situation where, I only want to put down 10%, but I have another, $2 million sitting in cash, well, why aren't you putting in this deal? What's the story? Is that just your backup plan? Well, backup plans, I get that, but we may want a little bit more of a down payment to offset. So again, it's a balance, and I think that's the biggest thing with this is every lender is going to be looking at this with their own glasses.
And I don't believe that's just financial. You're also making sure they're not a full absentee buyer, that they're participating in the business.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. Since now search funders and all that are kind of out of the SBA, right?
Yeah.
So
100%.
Hopefully that helps. And again, if you have any SBA lending needs, reach out to myself, Paul Longisa Credit Union. And even more important, if you are looking to sell your business,
Seth Rudin, thank you. I'm here for you.
That's right. See you guys
you.
later.